Okay, welcome to the overview and introduction to the Muzix application for the iPhone and iPod Touch. Before we actually get into the demo of the application, let's talk a little bit about how these kinds of softwares are used on these devices. We see two broad scenarios, broad classifications of use for these applications. We'll call them preload use and browsing usage. Let's say you're going for a run, or you're going for a walk on the beach, or maybe you're at work and you need to play some music in the background. You're not really interested in interacting with the device a great deal. You're more interested in loading a bunch of music into the device and having it play for, an hour or two. That's what we call preload use. And in fact, let's demonstrate that with the actual iPod application here on this. This is actually an iPod Touch revision 3. And it's a 32 gig, it's about a quarter full of music. So let's go ahead and start with the iPod app. And it's come up with the playlists actually. Of course, you can go with artists or songs or playlists on the iPod app. I don't really have a whole lot of playlists in here. Let's just pick these top 25. Pick top 25, there's all the music in the top 25. I'm going to load all this music into the player app by touching on shuffle, and now of course it's starting to play. This is something you've seen 100 times, I'm sure. So that is preload. Preload means it's basically a distant relationship you have with the device. Load it and forget it. Now there's another mode, another use case, which is what we call a browsing usage. When you're browsing with a device, you have a much more intimate relationship with your player. You use this, for example, when you're sitting in your easy chair at home and you just want to listen to some music, or on your sofa, or you're in a plane flying from coast to coast, say, and you have 4 or 5 hours of uninterrupted time. In that case, you want a much more intimate relationship with your music. You may be on iTunes, get new songs, load them in a particular order, change your mind about how they're going to be played. That is the use case that Muzix was designed for, and it's where Muzix really excels. So let's fire Muzix up here. The icon on our iPod, the little iPod here, is in the lower left-hand corner, so we'll type that. What we have here is the Muzix top category, or home category. A category is simply an area in which to store music, playlists, and other categories, which we call subcategories. A subcategory is simply a category that's contained in another category. It looks a lot and works a lot like the desktop does on your PC at home. Categories can have any number of pages. You can have 1 page or 1,000 pages. Of course, it's a little hard to scroll through 1,000 pages, but you could have them if you wanted to. This particular iPod, if you look in the upper right-hand corner, there are 2 numbers, a big number 1 and a little number 6 that's blue. The number 1 is the current page that you're on. The little blue number is the total number of pages in the category. So this particular iPod, the top category has 6 pages. Let's go ahead and scroll through them so you can see. So that's page 1, 2, and you see these are all icons. Let's stop here for a second. Each of these is a button that when touched plays music. The art comes from the album art for the album that the song came from. So we have there is page 4, 5, and page 6. So let's go back for a second to page 1. By the way, you'll notice that there's empty space in here, and in Muzix you can put these icons anywhere you want. Muzix doesn't force you to order them in any particular way. So here we are on page 1. Now you see there's more of these icons at the bottom, but up at top there's some interesting icons that look a little bit, they're kind of bluish with little notes in front. They kind of look a little like folders. Those are subcategories. Now there's a pink one down here, which we'll get back to in a little bit. That's a playlist. So let's just pick one of these. Let's pick this one here. Category, just a little bit of help screen going on there. In this particular subcategory, and you'll notice at the top there we have the name of the containing category, which is in this case Mary. There are 4 songs. This is kind of not very interesting. So actually, let's go back to the top category and pick something with a little more structure to it. Let's pick this one on the top left. Now we're in the subcategory of the top category, and this category has one page, and it has itself got 3 subcategories and what, 1, 2, 5 songs. So I could press those songs, but actually let's go into one of these subcategories again. We're now 2 levels into this category structure, and this subcategory has 2 pages. You see them there, and there are space on each category page for 16 icons. So this subcategory has what, 18 songs in it. If I was to pick one of these, in fact, let's go ahead and play one of these by just touching on it. You'll notice that that song appears in this little bar at the top of the screen. And this actual area, this black box up here, is what we call the mini cue. It represents the play cue. These are all the songs. If I picked another one of these, say this one here, you'll notice that it gets added at the top. Let's go and look at this play cue. This is just a representation of it. In Muzix, everything to the right is all of the initial page is all category pages, and the page to the left is the play cue. So if we go to the left from here, those are the songs that we've just picked. So let's go pick some more and put them in the play queue and see how that works for a second. Back up to the top screen here, and we can scroll left and pick some more music here. I don't know, just picking random songs. And you'll notice that as I pick music, it gets added to the play queue up top. Now, handy feature here, this is a shortcut. Quite often you can have as many pages, of course, in a category as I said as you want. To get back to the original, not the original, but to get back to the play queue page, all you have to do is touch on the page number up in the upper right hand corner. So there we have all the songs that we picked. To continue here, let's show you the album art for this. You notice there's a whole bunch of buttons up here at the top. Each one of those buttons has a specific function that we'll discuss in later videos. Right now, let's just look at the rightmost button, which is the album art button. And this is the album art for that page. If we go to the next song by pressing the next button, we go to the next song, which actually happens to be from the same album, which has the same album art. But you can see if we go to the next one after that, we can cycle through all the albums. If we go back to the play queue, you see every time we pick a new song, we go to the next piece of music, and it goes through the whole music. Obviously, if we position this, just to show you how this works, in normal mode, we'll position here towards the end of the song, which we have about, 18 seconds left of this. It will actually automatically, obviously, sequence to the next song. Now, in normal play mode, each song is played in order through the queue. And one of the best features of Muzix is, and we can see what it'll actually change here, there we go, is that you can add stuff to the queue while the music is playing. So if I go over here and I pick another song, you can see what's currently in the queue. If I pick another song, it gets added to the queue, which is now this bottom element. So that's the basic operation of the Muzix application. I promised you we'd talk about one other thing. You'll notice we do have a lot of other icons here, which we'll talk about in other videos. Let's clear this. We'll clear this queue. Since we're going to do that, let me just show you one other feature. You can, by touching on one of these song entries, highlight it, and the function of the leftmost button, which is the trash can here, the delete button, is to remove elements from the queue. So if we highlight something and then touch the delete button, let's see if I can do this so you can see it. See, now that was deleted. Touching outside of the queue removes the button, removes the highlight. To delete the entire queue, simply press and hold down. Whoops, actually I have to hold down the trash can, and the entire queue is deleted. So let's go look at that playlist button, and we'll be done with this basic introduction. Playlists are those little pink icons, or actually magenta icons. To create a playlist, you load the play queue up with all of the songs that you want to be in the playlist, and then you create the play queue icon. We'll discuss that in the play queue icon video. But right now what we're going to do is demonstrate how they work when you touch them. So I'm going to touch on this playlist button, and you'll see what happens. Notice up here at the top, all of the songs that are in that playlist are being added to the queue. There's a whole bunch of them. There's 49 of them. If we go over here and look at the playlist, or play queue, there are all the songs. So, oh, and I might also add that touching it again doesn't replace the music. It actually adds to. So we touch it again, you'll see there's a whole bunch. We have like 100 songs in here. 98 actually. We now have 98 entries in this queue, which will all get played one after the other as the music finishes. We could at this point load all of this information into the iPod player and go into the background and be in load mode, a preload mode, and go off and do our run or walk on the beach or do whatever. Or we can go in here and reorder and organize and pick and choose and move things to the top of the queue as is necessary. So once again, Muzix supports a browsing type of operation with your iPod and iPhone. It's a more intimate, closer relationship to the music, and this whole system is designed to make it easy for you to play the music you want to hear in the order you want to have it. So that's Muzix's basic overview and introduction. Hope you enjoyed it. Currently available on the App Store, so go buy it. Thanks for watching.